Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies, strengthening your business while offering your talent to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Hello, welcome. We are so excited. This is the Tuesday Giver Marketing broadcast. And in the house today, we have Daniel Knight, CEO of Unicorn Universe. Oh, I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Christine. I am excited to be here. Going to be a really great show. Yes.
Absolutely. And really, when we think about it, we love collaborating with people that are out doing good in the world. And I got to say, Unicorn Universe is one of my favorite organizations to partner with. So really excited to have you here. And really, your space, right? You and I, we both love networking. We love building relationships. And that's just something that we just do inherently. We can't seem to help ourselves, right? We couldn't stop if we tried. So I love having that you're going to bring some of your special talents to the show today. So what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're talking about how to leverage technology, specifically AI, to dominate social media. And it's really awesome topic to talk about, especially as it relates to connecting people.
Absolutely. I love it. Now, were you always this amazing, or, were you just born this way and you're just amazing, or was your journey to get you here?
No, honestly, a few years ago, you wouldn't have caught me dead at a networking event. I was very much a shy person. The idea of posting and being on social media was a pretty scary thing. I had to spend a lot of time just recording selfie videos that I knew I wasn't going to post anywhere because I wanted to do it. I knew I had to get out of that comfort zone. When I was actually 12 years old, that's really when my whole journey as a business owner and as a person getting involved with technology started. I was fixing and flipping electronics and doing that out of my mom's basement. I would literally have people come over to her house, drop off their laptop, and I'd take it into the basement and fix it up and give it back to them. I'd make $100. It was awesome. It was honestly really great. And so that was kind of like the start of my business journey. But, it's funny, actually, I want to talk about the marketing side as well, because this was kind of like when I came out of my bat cave as a
I was going to say, that was the beginnings of the entrepreneur lifestyle, right? That was the start of the spark.
Right. And it's funny because when we started Unicorn Universe, it wasn't really meant to be a marketing company, but it really just is a marketing company. And, we do it in a very creative way, making connections, creating partnerships, developing affiliate systems, all of that. And I recognized that, again, I needed to get on social media more. And so I started creating content on LinkedIn. I got super active. I mean, there was a point where I created about 900 posts in 8 months. Do the math on that. Okay. It was a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So I was super active, right? I have a ton of experience copywriting. This was pre-ChatGPT, believe it or not. And so I was writing it, coming up with hooks, all these different things. And what I love about our conversation today is that there was a very specific turning point in my content creation journey, which was after I read the book. Take a guess. Take a guess.
Let's see. Was it AI Today? I'm
No,
going to be
no.
brilliant. No?
Well, no. Think deeper. Think more relevant to the group that we're both
Are
a
we
part of.
talking about like The Giver?
Yes. The Go-Giver by our buddies Bob Berg and John David Mann. That changed my entire content strategy, the entire way I approach really everything, to lead with value and not worry about giving too much value, which you might actually get mad at me about what we covered today, because I'm just giving it all out. I'm just giving it all
Just
away.
do it. Just do it, right?
Yep. But because of that mindset, the abundance mentality, and the law of value, and giving so much more and not worrying about it taking away from anything, but to really just give to people. And so that really changed everything. And I am excited about our call today because it really just blends it all together. My skills in technology and AI, and I've done a lot with that, as well as the marketing and content creation and connecting people, because, social media is just a means to get connected with people. And so it all just
attract your tribe. That's right.
Yeah. So anyway.
So I know you've got all sorts of wonderful tidbits that you're going to drop on us today. So y'all get your pen, paper ready, or be ready to start making notes and chat. If you've got questions, shout out. We're here to help, and let's hit it. You ready?
Oh yeah, always ready. So definitely take some notes. I am going to run through this, and there's going to be some nuggets in here that you can take and run with. So again, this is all about how to leverage AI to dominate social media. That's without hiring people, without getting burned out, because social media loves consistency. If you don't have that consistency and you're creating every single day, it can get really exhausting. Trust me. What's 900 divided by 8 months, right? I mean, that's about 3 posts a day. Okay. And I was creating them literally every single
day. You did it by hand. I mean, what?
The graphics, the captions, the copy, some of these were articles, some of them were videos, all of it. So I'll be honest with you. Believe it or not, I got burned out.
I believe it.
Yeah. So it's important to have a system and process and all that is sustainable and that aligns with a way of not getting burned out. So huge reason why a lot of people do get burned out is, again, because they are trying to do too much. So what we're going to cover today is really what does work and what helps marketers and creators and different agencies actually create a year of content in less than 3 hours. And I'm actually doing this.
What?
I'm actually doing it a lot faster than that. And it's just gotten better and better. So we'll talk about what most people run into from bottlenecks, as well as how you can utilize AI to create your own system that is aligned with your brand voice. And then even a system and a strategy that is proven to work consistently every time and prevent you from burning out. So let's get to it. As everybody here knows, ChatGPT is not an unfamiliar name. And like I said, everything I'm going to teach you is something you can implement in your business to create a year of content. I've done it myself, 55 posts, that's 1 per week, where you have a piece of content going out pre-scheduled in advance for the next year. I have 2 minimum scheduled each week until next March at this point, which is great because trust me, when I was looking at our content and spending hours every week just planning ahead and trying to get ahead of it, some weeks we would miss. Some weeks, you miss your marketing planning meeting, and guess what doesn't happen? Marketing the next week or the next month, right? And so this is a way that you're able to implement a campaign strategy and plan campaigns versus planning a week or a period of time that you can then know you have content going out consistently. So what are some of the things that most content creators, most companies struggle with when it comes to why their content is not sustainable, why they burn out, why they are inconsistent with it. And a lot of it is just because it's not strategic and it's time consuming, and they end up staring at a blank screen, not knowing what to produce. And I mean, how many of us have looked at what we need to create and just not known what to put out there, right? It's a problem, and it can be very taxing. And if you get caught on a day where you're just not feeling it, it can be even more of a problem. So anyway, so those are some of the biggest issues that content creators and business owners run into, and including agencies, right? So agencies usually have different tools and systems that help with that. But to have the consistent quality and a consistent system, that's kind of where a lot of the time they struggle. So we're going to talk a little bit about ways you can solve that.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how when you're trying to do it on a daily basis, you're really like, can I just make it through today's post? You're not thinking strategically. You're just thinking about, I just need to get it finished, right? So when you actually take the time to plan it out ahead of time, like you said, it's that strategy that a lot of people are missing.
Right. Yeah, it's really easy to, get up and want to create the content. You have a plan. So many people set a goal to create content every single day, and that's a great goal to have, but it's also kind of not. It's like have a plan to have content going out every day, but to have a system in place where you don't have to do it every day in order to have content going out every day. Because I have time set aside to create content every day, but I don't just do the one post. I'll batch it and create multiples so that it's consistently going out on my social media.
Absolutely. It can be overwhelming to try and do that every single day, day in and day out. When I was building up my Facebook following, I was like, oh my goodness, this is grueling, right? They like it best when you're posting several times a day, right? I mean, it's just very time consuming. So if you can plan ahead, it makes life a little bit easier.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, a lot of different things that, we can run into as creators that can slow us down. And I, again, just I would love to like really dig in and show people like all the different things that you can do, but we're not going to. We're just going to kind of touch on it. And there's some free tools that I'll give that, again, are just really powerful, and that can really help with this. So, so this guy, if you've ever been this guy, this is the guy that is, this is where I was at. Literally, like I said, I would need to plan the content. I would know that we don't have anything scheduled for the next week or the following week, and the time would go by and we would miss a bunch of days, and sometimes you just throw something out there to make sure you had a piece of content that maybe wasn't quality, maybe was out of alignment with your strategy and with your brand and the style and your voice and all that. And it's just not fun. You get stuck in content overwhelm, and nobody likes that. Nobody likes to be in that position. So how do we solve it? Well, AI alone is not the solution, because without a proper system and strategy, you're still going to be doing the same thing, right? You're still going to be going to your thing saying, okay, what do I create today? And it's actually really cool. I created this Notion template that is part of the 10X Unicorn group, where I'll plug in my goals. I'll plug in all the details of whatever it is that I'm working on, the 3 revenue generating activities that I have for the day. And then there's a button that I can hit, because part of it is creating content every day. And you hit this button and it'll actually give you a bunch of ideas about content you can create based on your goals, based on the revenue generating activities. And I think that's really cool. So just a little tip, you can do things like that to really guide you and help support the different content that you're creating. And, there is still a lot of value in recording, shooting, creating, and posting the content all on the same day, because it's relevant, it's timely. I feel like we are all oftentimes operating on a similar wavelength, And so your pre-scheduled content can be totally out of alignment sometimes with how you're actually feeling that day. But that's actually a really powerful thing to have happen, is that some days you're feeling, and this goes back to the initial point before, is that some days you're feeling way better than other days. And you're cranking out your content, you're writing amazing posts because you're in the right frame of mind. But then that day actually rolls around and you're like, ugh, dragging. Have you ever been inspired by your own post that you created like weeks beforehand?
Absolutely, right? You're like, oh, I was really spot on that time. Wow. Wish I did that every day, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's what having a system and a structure and a plan in place can do, is protect you from the down days where maybe you don't feel like creating content, but you have it going out anyway. And LinkedIn is really nice because you can actually schedule to your personal platform through some of the other scheduling tools, like through Go High Level, or I really like Taplio. That's a super powerful tool. One of my favorite things is sharing different tools with people that they can utilize to maximize their life, right? And in this case, social media. Have you used Taplio, Christine?
I have not. I was just thinking, I don't even think I've heard that one. There's so many tools out there. Tell me more, Daniel.
Okay, I'm going to, because this is what I used the most when I was super active on LinkedIn. And here's the thing. On LinkedIn, when I was doing that, I took my account from about 1,400 followers, and in that year, grew it to just over 11,000 followers. And that's organic.
Nice.
Before, I started around 500, and in about a year and a half, I grew it by about 900 using bots, using LinkedIn automation, which is still, I'm not totally against it, but there's a way to do it. There's a right way and a wrong way. And I just called somebody out last night who pitch slapped me, and I wasn't a fan of that. Like, they come at me hard, just whack, whack, whack with this pitch. And I'm like, dude, stop. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, I just accepted your thing. You haven't even let me respond to you, and you're asking me to jump on a call and to this and that. And I'm like, will you just chill? And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Thanks for letting me know. I would love to learn from you. So you know what I did? I shared the interview that I did with Bob Berg about connecting with people and, giving value first, because he was not. And I was like, let me know after you've listened to this, because I'm not talking to you until you do.
Nope, I understand, because there's nothing worse when you dread opening your social media because it's all going to be pitches and nobody really wants to build relationships. They just want to sell you something. It's like watching TV and it's 100% ads.
Right.
What?
Oh yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst. I don't watch TV because of that. Well, and because of 1.2 million other things. The riches are not in the pitches.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, having a system in place, and I'm going to finish what I was saying about Taplio because it's super cool. And this is kind of going to directly contradict what we were just talking about. But again, there's a right way and a wrong way to use this. Okay. So with Taplio, you can actually automate a message based on people reacting and commenting on your post, which is super cool. So you post your thing, and what I encourage that you do is you don't pitch slap them with whatever it is that you had in mind behind the post, but you say, hey, have a great day. You say, hey, thanks for liking my post. Even that's like, you're going to be able to tell, right? But you can create a delay, things like that. And it's actually a really powerful thing to use. I plan on probably implementing it here again, because it was really good, solid tool. But that being said, I'm using Go High Level for pretty much everything that I might not. So we'll see. But, again, just going back to having a system and a strategy in place, right? And the things that I'm going to talk about in a little bit really enable you to spend more time on the strategy and less time on the production, on the actual content creation. which is what we're talking about on the fourth point, okay, is spending more time on strategy and less time on content. More on strategy, less on creation. So many people do the complete opposite. They spend 80% of their time on the content creation and 0 to 20% of the time on the strategy side of things. And it's just totally backwards. And to be honest with you, I did that. 900 posts in 8 months. How much time do you think I spent on strategy? Some. And don't get me wrong, I definitely generated a lot of results, a lot of growth, landed new clients, created, somewhere around $20,000 to $30,000 in revenue through just being continuously active on LinkedIn, which isn't a ton, but it's also a good number. And that's from not talking to the person who was like, oh, I love your content. I love everything you stand for. I want to book a call with you. They went to my LinkedIn. They booked a call with not me, with another person, and they were able to close them because she was ready to go. She was like, I just want to be part of whatever Daniel's doing.
and who doesn't want to be?
Well, I mean, we're working on some pretty cool things. So
we are.
So anyway, this part's super important, right? If you want to have a social media strategy that dominates your social media, then you got to have a plan to dominate your social media. And again, so many people will just fly by the seat of their pants and not really know why they're posting. They're just posting. And it's better to post than not to post. But at some point, you got to make the most of your post.
Right. What are your goals, right? If you're posting just randomly and you have no goals in mind, then what are you hoping to achieve by posting?
Right. And at this point, with AI and utilizing ChatGPT, it's too easy to do. Not to have a strategy is kind of just irresponsible. Like, you can tell it what you're creating, what you're working on, what your goals are, and have it give you a plan in minutes, right? But still, the more time you put into the strategy side of things, the better off you're going to be. And here's the thing about that. When you do that, and when you have all this extra time to focus on the strategy, start doing that, right? We were just talking about going live and posting this to groups. Groups on social media are so powerful and so underutilized, and there's a strategy behind them that is super important to implement, that if you're just posting and you're not posting to groups, you're not spending enough time on strategy. And if you're just posting to groups and you're not building relationships with people in there, you're not spending enough time on strategy. And if you're just building relationships and just, chatting with people, but you're not engaging in the comments and you're not, following up with people, and you don't have a real reason behind who you're targeting, why you're targeting them, what your offer is, what your message is, how you're going to not pitch slap them, but still engage with them, then you're not spending enough time on strategy. And it doesn't take that much to do, but think about it this way, right? You've got, we'll say, 20 minutes to create a post, right? So of that, maybe 5 to 10 minutes goes into the creation part, and then the other half should go into the strategy side of it, right? In 20 minutes, I'm talking like, this is a short, sweet, to the point post, right? I still spend a good amount of time creating the content, but again, with where AI is at, there's so many different tools you can implement. From ChatGPT, once you have a solid ChatGPT built for yourself and you have it trained on your brand voice and your style and your message and your mission and your values and things like that, then it becomes super easy to create content, create a script that you can then plug into an app like Captions. And then you use an app like Captions that uses AI to streamline the editing and streamline the production. And you do this often enough, and you don't need to edit the video very much at all. And on top of that, creating a caption to go with the video becomes super easy because you have a custom trained AI. So you really can get one done in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. But how much time are you giving to that post after it's created? It should be 80% of the total time spent on the post. So
That's a good point, right? A lot of times we think, oh, I need to post, and then I'm just going to set it and forget it. That's not really how social media works. It's intended to involve communication back and forth. You can't just post it and never come back to it again. That's not how you're really going to build your following. That's not how you're going to build relationships. So it's more than just scheduling it.
Right. Yeah. And so, so the time that we spend with it, we spend so much time, a lot of the time, creating the creative side of the post, right? The copy, the video, the image, whatever. And it's becoming less and less now. But how many posts do we spend, an hour on or whatever? And we put it out there and then let it do its thing and then move to the next one. Like, repurpose it. What is your repurposing strategy? What is your engagement strategy? Are you sending that to different groups or to other people and asking them for support with it? So many different things that we can do with it. And so what I want to actually talk about today is really a solid way to repurpose and reutilize the creative aspects of your copy, your content, right? So we're going to go to the next one. Okay. So the first person lives in chaos, right? They're creating tons of content. They're blasting it out there. They're me back before ChatGPT and back when I was creating 900 pieces of content and I had content going out like crazy. Now it was pretty strategic. I did this post every Friday. It was called the Unicorn Connector post. And it's actually how we transitioned from that into our Friday virtual calls, the unicornconnection.com. And I would put this post out on LinkedIn, and basically I would tell people, hey, who's your golden connection? I would put that in the post, and sometimes I would collaborate with other people to ask them what I could support them with. And so I'd put their call to action in my post and tag a bunch of people. Man, I would love to show this spreadsheet that I created, but essentially I really did put I shouldn't say I didn't put a lot of strategy behind it, because I actually did. I had this whole sheet where I kept track of all of the people who were engaging with my content, how many followers they had, their industry, what their headline said, how active they were on social media, on LinkedIn. So I'd go to their page and I'd score them out of 1 to 10. And I would look, when's the last time they posted? If it was within the last couple hours and they did again a few hours before that and it's been consistent, they'd be pretty much close to a 10. If they hadn't posted in a day, it'd be like an 8 or a 9. If it had been weeks or months, then it'd be like a 0 or a 1, right? So I was keeping track of this. And on top of that, keeping track of who was liking my posts, who was commenting on my posts, who was tagging me in their comments on their posts, who was tagging other people on their posts, who was engaging with it and suggesting connections with the post. So I did all of this. I had hundreds of names on this sheet, and I would sort them and organize them accordingly. Strategy. How do you think I went from 1,400 followers to 11,000 in less than a year? That was a huge part of it, right? It wasn't because I posted 900 times. I think that helped, but I know it was more so because of how I was keeping track of it all. So having a system, right, and having a strategy in place, super powerful. And so now we live in the day of AI, right? And there's so many different things that we can do to really maximize our time. And I actually created this whole system that came from a spreadsheet to really just streamline everything. And I just encourage that anybody who is on social media, that is active with their social media, just has a solid system that they feel good about. And that can be a combination of things. So build your own infinite content system. That's what I did. It kind of happened on accident. And then Christine was like, you need to be offering this to people. And I was like, well, I don't know about that. But now I am. And it came out of a system that I encourage you implement for yourself. At least something. Okay. And so the number one thing is a custom GPT trained in your own voice, your style, your writing. Grab your best performing content from social media, put it in a Google Doc. I've got hundreds of posts on a Google Doc that I then uploaded to the backend ChatGPT. And then you want to give it the style, your brand voice, the types of posts you want to be creating, the keywords that you do and don't want it to use, all those things. And I'm actually going to give people a link that they can get all of these for themselves. Training on how to build your own GPT, brand voice and style guide that you can fill out and plug into the back end of the GPT, and then a spreadsheet. So this is kind of where, you know, the magic came together, is you can actually bulk upload your content to a posting platform. This is where it took my workflow from, you know, 5 to 10 hours a week of planning, creating, and posting content to like, you know, 30 minutes and I can do 40 posts, or 30 posts in 45 minutes. That's more of the right math there. And so this is my system. This is the way that I've done it. And again, I've improved the spreadsheet side of things from the prompt generator. But having a consistent strategy, a consistent system that you can utilize to really maximize your social media. So anyway, the custom GPT, super important part. And Christine, I know that you're not unfamiliar with that. And personally, I've created, I think I just counted the other day, it was like, I don't know, somewhere around 20 custom GPTs. I have multiples for different reasons, but I've really started honing in on this one that is my 10x Unicorn AI Knight. And it's trained on content creation. It's trained on my goals. It's trained on my values. It's trained on my future self stuff. So every Saturday, or, you know, most Saturdays, I'm doing a future self meeting with myself and journaling and creating all these different things to encourage myself. And I put that into the back end too. And guess what? With all of that journaling, you know what happens? I create so much content and instructions for my GPT that it just pulls quotes from my content. It just pulls the words directly from my document, and it's creating in exactly my words, and it's trained on how to do that. So that part is super important. The other part is the prompt generation. The best way to get the best results out of any AI is to give it the best prompts 100% of the time. Yeah. And the way that things are going, the highest paid people, especially if you're working a job, are going to be the ones that are the best at generating prompts. Not generating, but creating them. And some of my prompts are crazy. Like, I'll create a prompt that's like, oh, I can't even fit it on the screen. Like 2 screens long, and for like a short little caption, right? But it's got so much thought and strategy behind that prompt that it comes out exactly the way that I want, right? And so we can apply the 80-20 rule to this as well, right? 80% goes into the prompt to create the 20% of the copy, of the image, of whatever it is, right? And so some of these images that you've seen, I used my prompt engineering skills to create the images and make sure that they came out solid. So anyway, I highly encourage studying prompt engineering. It sounds a lot more complicated than it really is, but there's so many different things. You're going to see all over the place. Get your prompt pack. Get 1,000 prompt packs for $10. And it's like, man, you don't need those, but they're useful because you can learn from them, and you can learn different styles of prompt engineering. And so I actually, as part of this system that I've built, created 100+ prompts that you can take and utilize in your business. But again, it's more so to show you what some good prompts actually look like.
Right. And I think that's hard for a lot of people when they first start into the AI space. They're like, where do I even start? Right. And the idea of writing a prompt, right? Good prompts in, good results. Bad prompt in, bad results. Right. So I think that gets overwhelming for people who haven't tried it. I always remind them that they can't break it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the more that you kind of know here's what I recommend anybody to do when they're writing out their prompt is start with the goal in mind. What is it that you're trying to achieve? You give it the objective of what the end result is that you want, and you make sure that you give it as much information about that objective to back it up and get what you're looking for. Again, the 80-20 principle. There's actually this group that I'm a part of, the AI Space Mastermind, and they have a framework called the CoStar framework. And I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I'll have to find it somewhere. But you can get access to it for free. They do a free call every week on Fridays, I believe. And we actually have that on our community platform at Unicorn Universe. So if anybody wants to check that out, can I say the link for them to go to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we have a free version of the Unicorn Universe community where we put our members' events on the platform for people who are just kind of getting familiar with Unicorn. We put them in the event section. And so the AI Space Mastermind group is one of them. So you can go to community.unicornuniverse.io and you'll see some of the different events that are free. You don't have to log in or anything. But, if you want to be kind of more of an official-ish unicorn, then that's kind of where you go. So anyway, prompt generation, super important. Now, the thing that really helped me streamline my whole workflow and kind of this light bulb moment was when I saw the words upload from CSV in Go High Level. And I'd seen this before in the past, but it never really felt as tangible as it did today. And when I was in Go High Level, I was like, you know what? Like, why am I not doing that? Because ChatGPT can create spreadsheets. It can export to a CSV. And if that's the case, why am I not creating my content in bulk and putting it in a spreadsheet to then upload it to ChatGPT or to Go High Level? And so I was like, well, how could I make that happen? So I downloaded the template in Go High Level and started figuring out how I could create the backend instructions in the custom GPT, the unit content AI. We call her Claire. Shout out to Christine. And basically, it's trained on how to utilize the prompts that we give it, these super, super intense prompts, and plug it into ChatGPT, where it then cranks out the content anywhere from, one post. I don't really do it for one, but if I have like 4 to 50 posts that I'm trying to do for a specific campaign, then I just fill out this form and I put it into the GPT, and it's trained on how to create the content in bulk, in batches though, and then create the spreadsheet to then upload to Go High Level. What I'm about to say might not even make sense, but it sounds a lot easier than it is.
I was just thinking about, so many business owners are like, I just want to get my social media done with. This is taking forever, right? Let me just do it, right? And I could see this adding a lot of value, let alone those that are marketing agencies, right? Imagine if you could create all the content for your client within a couple hours for the year.
Yeah.
Mind blowing, right?
Totally. And fun. Like literally every time I do one of these campaigns, I'm like giddy. I'm like, I can't even believe it. It just works every time without fail. It's amazing. And I've actually done a bunch of webinars on this as well. And live created 20 posts. Well, more like 12. It's kind of a lot to do 20 on a webinar, but to show people just how it works, and super powerful. So anyway, how much time do we have?
Let's see, we're at 39 minutes, almost 40 minutes. So probably start wrapping things up here pretty soon.
Okay, cool. Then we're going to move on. So anyway, like I said before, using this system, basically this right here, having a custom GPT, having a prompt generator, I was using a spreadsheet, using a formula. So look up concatenate. That's the secret word that you need to know to create a spreadsheet that you can fill out, to create a prompt that you can plug into your ChatGPT, to create a spreadsheet that you can then upload to Go High Level.
I don't even recognize that as a word, Daniel. What did you even say?
Concatenate. Concatenate.
Concatenate. There you go.
Yeah, it's basically a string of cells in a Google sheet that come together to create a paragraph or whatever it is that you're doing. So I have a lot of experience doing things like that from when I was at Hertz Car Sales. I was a regional manager and created a lot of reports and dashboards and things that I needed to pull from thousands of vehicles and inventory and all sorts of different KPIs to concatenate a single report that was in a dashboard that I could just show to my region where everybody was at, where the cars were at, and stuff like that. So it all just kind of comes together for this powerful little system that I built. So that's kind of, you don't have to do it that way, but it's a pretty solid approach to it. And it's really not that complicated. And here's a little cheat code. Just ask ChatGPT. Ask it to help you create that, okay? I wrote it out at first, but it really got better once I started asking it to help me with it. So anyway, doing that empowered me and my team and other people to literally create 25 posts in 45 minutes. And in some cases, 55 posts with the images, with the captions, with everything in just a couple of hours. And and then scheduled, right? So you upload it to your Go High Level and then they're done. Like I was just saying earlier, I have content scheduled till next March and it's May. And I created that in March because I wanted to have content every single week. If you're like most business owners, you don't have the time or you don't make the time to create content every single day, every single week, but not showing up like that. And I can't even tell you how many marketing companies, they're the worst. They're the worst. They don't have content on their social media because they're so focused on creating content for everybody else. Mm-hmm. Doing something like this, just having one thing a week is going to create a lot of credibility. And I promise you, because I look every single time, if I'm talking to a marketing company, are they creating content for themselves? Right. Or are they spinning their wheels? Are they, how on top of it are they themselves? And it's honestly pretty slim how often people actually have that done. So this is what this is, AI's version of a content calendar. This is what it can look like. Full every day of the week. You've got posts going out that are aligned with your brand style. And you don't have to worry about whether or not you have content going out the next week. You do for the next year. So the other part that I think is super important is having the content that converts. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but go through and find your best posts and put it into your backend GPT so that you don't miss out on the good stuff that is actually working, right? And doing all of this is a great way to unlock the speed and scale your social media to ways that are just next level, right? So we kind of touched on a lot of this, honestly. But, doing this, I actually was able to tell my content fairy that she doesn't need to spend as much time creating content. She can spend more time working with the members. She's our community fairy. And so she does that. So we focus more now on the high quality content that we need to do with a personal touch and less on the sales and promotional stuff that is just informative and it's going out there consistently. So if you do want to have a system like this, like I said, I've created everything for free that you can literally go and download and watch. There's a full training on how to create your own GPT and all the things you need to really leverage AI and dominate social media and start publishing and posting with confidence and consistency, and knowing that you can give your ChatGPT a quick little prompt and it's going to crank out content that sounds just like you. So you can get that at unicontentai.com. Like I said, you'll get the free training on the custom GPT, guide on how to train it in your own voice, and then other checklists and things that are like bonuses for you to really take and implement into your marketing process and nail it. So this isn't actually Claire. This is like an AI version of Claire. Claire's actually a unicorn, but but it's funny because it's like I think of Claire as like Christine's reflection of herself, And I mean, how perfect is this AI, and even the color shirt and everything, the hair.
There we go. I've channeled my inner Claire right here.
Yep. So that's where it's all at. The freebie that I give people is pretty solid little freebie. Creating your own GPT, brand voice, all that good stuff, and it's there for you. So should I take my screen off?
Well, let's hang it on for one more second
Yeah.
and give people a chance. Go ahead and scan that and access that unicontentai.com. What happens is they're actually going to learn how to create their own customized chat GPT, right?
Mm-hmm. Number one thing. Yep. I would definitely say create your own GPT, get personal with it. Get really personal with it. And tell it what you really want it to know, like your own personal assistant. I wouldn't just, especially if you're a solo, there are two versions of this, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a marketing team, if you're a marketing agency, you're going to want a marketing GPT. That's what my Unicontent AI is for. But I kind of took all of the content documents that I talked about and that I give you and put them into my personal GPT along with my goals and my own writing style and articles that I've written about, my story and things like that, to then create content for my own personal social media. So that's how I would do that.
Yeah, I was working on a personal brand myself also, because I was like, I don't want all business all the time, right? And more sassy Texan, right? So the personal brand's a little bit different than the business brand. So it's nice to have that flexibility. I'm laughing. We've got comments from Dustin Stout. Have you met Dustin yet?
Yes.
Playing in that AI space. Hey, we're having a conversation about AI. I guess we should probably pull some of our AI people all together and have an interesting panel discussion one of these times on a Tuesday marketing broadcast. Y'all would have so much fun.
Oh yeah, 100%. I love his second comment.
Yes, here you go. Let's pop that up so everybody can see it. You're spending more time writing the prompt than it would have taken just to write the caption yourself. Sometimes it feels that way.
Absolutely. But I like to ask ChatGPT to write the prompt for me that will give me the best prompt possible. Every image that we're looking at was done that way. I gave it the outline of what I wanted to cover, and I said I want an image for each slide, and then it told me kind of what each image was going to be. And I was like, all right, now write a prompt for each image that I can give back to you. Don't create the image, but give me the prompt to make sure they're all consistent, they're all in alignment, and that I don't have to write the prompt for each image. And, this is the only one I had to reproduce because it didn't give me the right text. And this one turned out better. But all the other ones were pretty solid.
Well, I liked it better when it was Clara the unicorn, but that's okay. All right, y'all scan that one last time. Make sure you got the access to that. And we're going to pull it off the screen. There it goes. So don't miss that opportunity. We love collaborating. We love bringing in Unicorn Universe to come hang out with us. We give her marketing. And we're all about collaborations. And I know that's something that a lot of the organizations do. So if this is something you're interested in, you want to collaborate, reach out to us. Daniel loves to collaborate. Give her marketing loves to collaborate. We have so many options. So don't be a stranger. Come hang out. And on Wednesdays, we have networking for marketers. So if you're PR, if you're marketing, anything in that space, don't be a lonelypreneur. Come hang out with us. We meet on Wednesdays, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern. givermarketing.com/networking. And it's a small, intimate group, but we help each other out. We work together. It's a nice space to play. And that's my nurturing group. So if you want to come hang out with me, maybe we'll snag Daniel in there at some point. You just never know what might happen. Dustin pops in sometimes. So we always have a good time. We kind of do an emergent topic. So depending on what we're feeling the need to go over at that time, we just kind of let the topics emerge and show support to each other.
How long is that call?
That call, it's about an hour.
All right. I'm going to be there this week.
Oh, so we'll see you tomorrow then. Yeah, come have some fun with us. It's very casual. We don't really have an agenda. So might drive you nuts if you're in a big agenda kind of person. If you just like to see where it goes and flow, we always have fascinating conversations, that's for sure. And we may have to get our AI people together for something fun, though. I think we should probably do that. Bring Dustin back on the show. We've had Ed Garza on the show before. He does everything with the Genius Club over at the Great Discovery. We could really have some fun together. We could blow up the internet.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for being a guest today, Daniel. Love having you talk and share your wisdom with us. And we will see you all next Tuesday for the Giver Marketing broadcast. See you then.
Thank you.